Hi guys, it's Amy from Mastro Stretch, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the types of stretching that's out there. So, if you've done any of my stretching, it's a very unique type of stretching called Kihara resistance stretching, and it's not well known. So, I just wanted to kind of cover what types of stretching are out there and how they're different and what might work best for you. So, most people know stretching as in a static stretch. So most stretches are static stretches. If you're, have done any type of stretching, static stretching is basically, bringing your leg out and going into hamstring stretch and holding that. That's a static stretch. So there's no effort involved. You just kind of hang out and let the muscle, the tissue. I don't like to say muscle because it's more the muscle that you're affecting. You're affecting the fascia and other tissues. So I just like to say tissue. You're letting the tissue relax. You usually typically go to a point of tension and then you hold it there and relax. And some people will hold a few seconds, 30 seconds. Now this type of stretching, to be most effective, you want to hold it for 2 minutes. That's when you're really going to start to see some change, long-lasting change. So it is a bit more time consuming. If you're a yoga fan, yin yoga would be this type of stretching where you hold the stretch for a long time. And so it does take time, but it is very relaxing. So if you're stressed out and you need some relaxing stress relief, this is a great type of stretch to do. There is static active and static passive. That's passive. Active would be where you're engaging the muscle, the opposite muscle a little bit more. So it's similar. Some people will do that without even really knowing it. So that's the most popular type of stretching. I think the second most popular type of stretching would be a dynamic stretch. This would be like a warm-up if you've ever played sports where you're kind of doing a rhythmic warm-up where you're swinging the leg back and forth, front to back, that type of thing. That's a dynamic warm-up. If you do vinyasa, again, yoga, a vinyasa flow would be more of a dynamic stretch. And where you're flowing from one position to the next and not holding it very long. And that's really great for warming up your joints and warming up the muscle and just creates heat in the body and warms the tissues up pretty well. And that's great. I think it does have its limitations. It just takes a longer amount of time to get any more range of motion. I think it's nice for, again, kind of breath work and stress relief and warming the tissues up. I think that's most importantly, it warms the tissues up. The third type of stretching is, I can never remember what this stands for. It's Pnf stretching. It is, I wrote it down and now completely forgot what the P stands for. Oh, proprioceptive nerve facilitation. That's what it is. Wow, that just popped in my head. So Pnf stretching is basically like a contract relax. You may have seen this if you are in the fitness industry. You may be familiar with like FRC type of stuff where it's an isometric contraction where you're tightening up your body and then doing some controlled range of motion. That's kind of like PNF. Another thing PNF would be like, okay, push against my hand and contract. So you're contracting and then relaxing. So it's a contract, relax. It's an active form of stretching. And it's great. It's great for like joint mobility, and then also it's very low inflammatory, so it's basically using that isometric contraction to help you gain more mobility. So very good. The last two, I really do like that PNF. I like the isometric contraction because it kind of goes into resistance stretching. So resistance stretching is what Kihara is. In essence, it's not stretching in a traditional form at all. It's actually strength training, and so is PNF. You're adding some isometric strength to it. So this is why I love it, because you build strength as you stretch. So with resistance stretching and Kihara specifically, we are going range of motion. So you're not just holding a static, holding a stretch. So you're actually moving in and out of the stretch and owning your range of motion. And you're building strength as you stretch. So for example, if you do a bicep curl, you're contracting, and then we're using our own weight or assisted, and you're lengthening that muscle under resistance. So it's eccentric training. So it's a loaded stretch, and you're lengthening the tissue as you go into the stretch. Again, excellent for building strength, and it's longer lasting. It tends to stick a lot better than other forms of stretching, because you are building strength and you're owning your range of motion and you're owning your mobility when you do this type of stretching. Love it. Double duty, twofer, right? Build strength, increase range of motion. And then the last one I really like too, it kind of has a taboo on it, is ballistic stretching. Basically, ballistic stretching is you put a little bounce in your stretch, and they're very short stretches. So it would be something like this, where you just kind of push back, pulse. It's this pulsing stretch. As long as it's not aggressive, it's very safe. And it actually it conditions the fascia. I like to call it elasticity training. I've also heard it called fascial conditioning, because it actually does target the fascia. And I love it. I think it's genius, and that's underutilized. I think it's a really good form of stretching, because it improves the elasticity of your fascia. But it does take a little bit longer to recover from this type of stretching. It can make you sore, just as the Pnf and the resistance stretching can. But boy, your tissue gets so healthy. It's amazing. Like, people that do this, the clients that do this, their tissue just feels like butter when I work on them. It's amazing. Again, they're only about 1 second per stretch, so you're not holding that stretch very long, and you're just letting your body spring you back, and you're not going real deep into that stretch. You just real quick and gentle, and improving the elasticity of the tissue. Love it. I got examples of, and again, I call it elasticity conditioning or elasticity stretching. So I have examples of that on my YouTube channel, and of course I have examples of the Kihara resistance stretching as well. But I just wanted to come on here and kind of explain some of that stretching. All stretching is good. Whatever works for you, do it. Just do it, because stretching does work. I don't care what you do. For the most part, just do something 10 minutes a day. You're going to feel better. So just want to hop on here and talk a little bit about that. Probably longer than you wanted, but go down that rabbit hole. But again, any type of stretching is good. Do something. And if you're interested in a stretch program, go check out my program, my free program on my website. It's MastroStretch.com/free stretch. You're going to get a starter stretch program for your neck, your lower back, and your hips, all under 15 minutes. So go check that out and sign up today. And until next time, this is Amy from Mastro Stretch. Bye for now.